Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different from the usual tutorial based video. So please let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this. We as miniature wargamers and painters have a rather expensive hobby. I know that I can't be the only one who loves to get a bargain, and every penny in savings can help to make this hobby more affordable and spend my money where it's needed most. So today we're going to be talking about my 5 top areas to save money for miniature wargaming. The tools we use are an area that we can save a fair amount of money on. These are an essential part of our hobby and somewhere that we can easily overspend. I have split these tools into 2 categories, painting and building. We will start with the building tools. Clippers, files and crafting knives make up this section of tools. These are all fantastic areas to save a bit of money. I have 2 pairs of clippers that I own, a cheaper pair and a higher quality pair. The cheaper pair I use for the cutting paper clips and things that could potentially blunt the more high quality pair. This allows me to save the higher quality clippers for jobs that specifically relate to a miniature, like removing them from the sprue. The cheaper pair cost me for about £2.50 from Hobbycraft here in the UK, and I got the Army Painter pair for around £9. Both of these are significantly cheaper than Games Workshop, who are selling their clippers for £21. Files are also a good way to save a bit of money. Shopping around and going to your local hobby shop, you can make some great savings on these, only needing to spend a couple of pounds. The final item is hobby knives. I use this set that I got from Amazon for around £10, which is a fantastic price, especially for a set with multiple handles and a huge array of different blades. Now Games Workshop do not currently sell a hobby knife, so I can't really compare it to their prices, but for £10 you really can't go wrong here. Now we'll move on to the painting tools that we use. This section of tools is made up of wet palettes, painting handles, and most importantly of all, paintbrushes. The wet palette is a way of saving some money on our paints by making them last longer, as well as providing a bunch of additional benefits like making mixing paint far easier, which means that we don't have to buy as many paints as we can mix our own colours, saving quite a lot of money. Next we're going to be looking at painting handles. This is a smaller area to save some money, but there is definitely some money to be saved. If you ever have any bottles that have a cork in, when you have finished with it, keep the cork. We can use this as a painting handle. Using some paper clips and a hobby drill, we can attach the model to the cork, and there you have it. Painting handles for the price of a small piece of paper clip. Compared to the £10 painting handle that GW are currently offering, we can gain infinite value by using these otherwise free corks. And now for the biggest area of savings in this section, the paintbrushes. Over the years I have amassed a fair few brushes of several different types and qualities. Having an array of brushes can be really useful in the long run and save us lots of money. There are a lot of brands in the art world that make some really reasonably priced brushes. These are my cheaper brushes and I use them for multiple jobs. Usually the less fine detailed and dirtier work, like applying PVA to the base and dry brushing. Using cheaper brushes for these tasks can save you a really good amount of money in the long run. I personally use companies like Royal & Langnickel, Artist's Loft and Royal, which offer fantastic prices for packs of multiple brushes. However, for dry brushing the miniature, I've now started using the Army Paint Masterclass series. These are highly affordable, really high quality brushes that I cannot recommend highly enough. I really want to get my hands on some Artis Opus dry brushes, but currently can't afford them, so in the meantime I decided to try these out and I'm seriously happy with them, and for only £15 you really can't go wrong. Now we're going to talk about the more high-end range of brushes that I use. Citadel Brushes are a great quality and I've used them for almost 17 years now. However, while they are great in quality, they are quite expensive. So recently I decided to start looking around to see if there was a brush that matched them in the quality department but beat them in the price department. After a little digging around, I found Winsor & Newton, specifically the Cotman series. I have a size 1 and 5. These are incredible brushes that easily match the Citadel brushes in quality, and they are far better value, giving us the potential to save several pounds on every single brush. Now we're going to move on to basing. This is a slightly smaller section to save some money on, but there is definitely some savings to be made. I used to buy pre-made bases from Games Workshop, and I've come to realise that although I enjoyed using them at the time and that they are a great product, I could be building bases with far more character for far less money. Using random bits that you already have in your bits box can provide great detail to your bases for absolutely no extra cost to yourself. Another great way is using Cork Sheets. These are a fantastic way to create rocks for our bases. They're lightweight, and when they're painted up, they give a really realistic effect. And the most important factor for this video is they're cheap. I got this roll from Amazon. I think it was about £10. Absolutely fantastic. It gives a really great result, and there's plenty of it for such a good price. The third and final way to save some money on basing is by using the Vallejo texture paste. For a few years now, I've been using the Citadel basing technical paints, which are a really good product, but costing over £4 a pot for just 24ml makes them really expensive. Last year I decided to try out the Vallejo basing texture paste, and for just £8 you get 200ml, nearly 10 times the amount, making it far more cost effective, and personally I also prefer the product as well, so for a better price and a better product, there's definitely no reason not to try it. The next section we're going to move on to is the paints. Paints are one of the most common purchases for us hobbyists, so they are going to be a great way to save some money. Small adjustments here and there can save us a lot of money in the long run. One good way of doing this is to switch up the bottle types we use. Through my personal experience, Citadel paints are among my favourites, but Citadel paint pots are not. Switching these out to dropper bottles could save you money in the long run, as paint dries up far slower and waste is minimalised. However, the main way I save money on my paints is my primers. I now use grey plastic primer from Halfords. It's a really high quality product, designed for use on car bodywork, so it's very tough but thin enough that it doesn't obscure any detail. The best quality of this primer, however, is that it's half the price of Games Workshop primers, so I now get twice the models primed for exactly the same cost. Models are most likely the part of the hobby that the vast majority of us spend our money on. This will most likely always be the case, but there are a few ways in which we can make our money go further on our models. The first way you can do so is by buying second-hand miniatures from sites such as eBay or Facebook Marketplace. A large amount of money can be saved here, being able to buy someone else's unused models or old collections that they are parting with to make way for the new. This, like I said before, is a very good way of saving money. I, however, prefer to buy my models new. I'm more of a miniature painter than a miniature gamer, so I personally prefer the flexibility that buying new gives me, being able to make more decisions on the building of the miniature, which can then move into the styling and the eventual paint job of the miniature, which I believe that buying second-hand would not allow. As more of a miniature painter, I'm constantly looking for really good quality miniatures at really good prices. One of the ways I've found to do this is to diversify the models in which I fancy giving a go, moving away from just painting Warhammer, AOS and 40k miniatures and moving into the realms of other games. There are a lot of manufacturers that really make cheap alternatives, or not necessarily alternatives, but models for a far more cost-effective price. Games such as Marvel Crisis Protocol and Star Wars Legion can be far better value than either 40k or AOS. In the case of Star Wars Legion, the price of a really highly detailed hero or villain figure can be as low as £10, which is far cheaper than Games Workshop can offer. And games like Marvel Crisis Protocol often do character packs for £30 for 2 miniatures, making them just £15 each, which again is very much on the lower end of the Games Workshop hero spectrum. So checking out games such as Star Wars Legion and Marvel Crisis Protocol could really save us a bit of money whilst providing us with extremely high detailed, incredibly fun to paint miniatures. However, as much as I love the miniatures from other games such as Legion and Crisis Protocol, the quality that Games Workshop offers is incredible, and I will always want to paint their miniatures. Having been around and playing their games for almost 17 years, I will always want to return back to that part of the hobby. So, to get new Games Workshop miniatures for better prices, we'll move on to the fifth way we can save some money on our hobby. Games Workshop miniatures can be pricey, but for the most part, they're completely worth it. However, it is definitely a great place to get savings here as well. We can do this by shopping around and using businesses that offer us discounts. Goblin Gaming is my personal favourite of these companies. Goblin Gaming has great customer service, fast delivery and great discounts, offering up to 20% off all the hobby supplies we could ever need. Another great thing about Goblin Gaming is that you can shop there and support the channel at the same time. There's an affiliate link in the description down below. Anything you purchase after using that link will give this channel a small commission at absolutely no extra cost to yourself. Support like this really helps the channel out massively and is incredibly appreciated. Thank you guys, and I hope you find everything you need from Goblin Gaming. With that fifth and final way to save some money on our hobby, that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful, potentially finding some really good ways to save a bit of money on your hobby. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe and the notification bell to never miss an upload. If you want to support the channel further, then there are a couple ways to do so. There's the Goblin Gaming affiliate link that I talked about in part 5, and also my Patreon page. I have some fun rewards and some additional content on the way that I think you guys will like. Thank you all again for watching and have an absolutely fantastic day. Catch you next time.